Namaste, everyone. This is going to be our gentle restorative practice for this week. And as you can see, I have the chairs behind me as well as a mat. We're going to use the chair not just for some active poses, but to restore as well. So grab a chair. It doesn't have to be this type of chair. It could be a dining room chair, kitchen chair, folding chair. Doesn't matter. It could even be the side of your couch. But what I want to talk about today is the fact that we all have different personalities. We know we have different personalities due to our ego and the shaping and the conditioning that we've been under through our lifetime. In fact, yesterday, the classes were all about how has life shaped us. So this can also shape our personalities, our likes and our dislikes, dependent upon our experiences and what we resonate with. And there is something that I've noticed. I'm taking my shoes off. There is something I have noticed just with myself in this past month. I've done 2 different retreats, one to Peru and one to Sedona, Arizona. And something that I noticed with these 2 particular retreats, I had people join me that didn't know me, didn't know my teaching style, and really wasn't fully aware of my personality. And I can have a direct personality, and I can, I'm very ambitious, I'm very driven. But at the same time, yoga has really grounded me, and it has helped me become a more patient person. And it's allowed me to be more relaxed in my dealings and helps me adapt to different changes that I need to deal with. But with my work, I'm also dealing with lots of personalities. I did that when I worked retail. I did that when I taught daycare. I did that as a flight attendant. And now as a yoga and meditation teacher and Reiki master, I'm still dealing with lots of personalities, which I love. I love the colorful array of personalities, just like I love being able to see people look differently with different facial features and different colorations to their hair and skin. I like diversity. But something that I've noticed on these last couple of retreats, I've had people show up or sign up, like I said, that didn't know me or how I work or operate or teach. And my retreats are always pretty well organized. I always know where we're staying, which meals are going to be taken care of, the excursions that we're going to do. However, sometimes things can look really good on paper as far as the plan is concerned. But then when you actually get to this new country or you get to this new place, and you have all these personalities together, and then you start practicing time management with all these different personalities, things can shift and change. For instance, in Peru, we literally were going, 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 going. And coming back from Machu Picchu, there was a train delay. And then after we got back into the smaller town, we picked up our luggage, and then we had to travel almost a mile up the road with our luggage in the rain to get onto the bus to be able to go back to Cusco. And I could tell when we were on the train and then when we were on the bus to Cusco, a couple people had gotten a little snappy, right? It had been a long day. And then everything got quiet on the bus. And I knew, looking at the time, we weren't going to get to Cusco till about 9 o'clock at night. We were going to have dinner. And then the next day we were supposed to be up at 5:30 to do a massive hike that was going to take us to a really high altitude, which was already going to put a lot on our bodies. And a few of the people had asked for a rest day. A few of the people wanted to keep soldiering on. So as the leader, I had to make a call. I had to sit with all the cards in front of me, and I had to pay attention to the energy that I was feeling and experiencing with the group. And I just had to say, hey, you guys, like, we're going to roll over what our plan was tomorrow to the next day, and we're going to shave off the very last excursion. So tomorrow is a rest day. We're going to do yoga. You can have a spa treatment. We could check out the town. Like there's plenty to do, right? So things had to shift and change. And there was only one person that came up to me later and was like, hey, why did you do that? Or why did you make that decision? And she was so sweet when I explained and all of that. But she could have really come at me hard for changing the itinerary. Then I went to Sedona. Same thing happens. I get a few people that don't really know me or how I operate. And one lady was super type A personality. And a type A personality is someone who's a little bit more rigid, very goal oriented, very structured, very organized, and is really all about time management. Well, I kind of go back and forth between A and B, but the B personality is more my speed. I'm more laid back, I'm more grounded, I can be more relaxed, things can shift, I can be flexible, it's all good, right? So when she was really rigid with the time management, and I could see she was getting really impatient, it was either the first or second day, she actually said something to me. And I did appreciate the fact that she came up to me as the leader and was like, hey, why didn't you say we have an hour here and we meet at a certain time? Because some of us aren't necessarily wanting to do this or that, right? And again, I was able to approach it like, hey, like reminding her this is a yoga retreat. And as yogis, we're to remain flexible. We're going to try to stay grounded. We're going to find our patience. And we're going to work with what's in front of us. And she actually told me, she goes, this is just really challenging me. And she says, I feel like you have certain things organized, but you're also leaving spaces in the schedule for us to gain some independence. And I was like, well, it's not necessarily to gain independence, even though that's how you could look at it. That space in the schedule is about the retreat. It's about this is also your vacation. And I don't want to plan in detail every minute of every day to take up your time as well. I want you to be able to assimilate some of the things that we've been doing. I want you to have a little time in the afternoon to relax before we do the next thing. I want you to have some quiet time on your own in the evenings to process things or to read or to, maybe just commune with maybe one person you're connecting to versus the entire group. And in the end, you guys, she came up to me and she was saying, I really appreciated this retreat and how you structured it. And I learned a lot by coming on this retreat. And so just think about if you're type A, type B personality, what are your expectations, right? And how you may spill that over into other things where it may not be necessary. So that's kind of what we're thinking about today as we move into our practice. We'll start active, we'll move into restoration. And I will say type A personalities probably have a really hard time slowing down with gentle, with restorative, with yin. But you know what? It could teach you type A personalities how to slow down, how to get grounded, how to build up that patience when things aren't so structured or managed the way, say, you would. At the same time, all these type B personalities like myself that love to slow down, that like the restorative or the deep stretches, we may need to flip it into a flow practice, a heated practice, something more powerful and strengthening or alignment based that gives us a challenge. All right, so no matter what box you tend to fit yourself in, yoga is all about expanding. So let's expand and let's explore. And let's start sitting on a chair. So when you come to sit on the edge of whatever chair you have, see if you can flatten your feet. And maybe that means coming up towards the edge of the actual seat. Line up the ankles under the knees instead of back behind. Feel the ground or the sticky mat below. And then draw up through your sternum, let your shoulders relax down. And then let's bring a mudra into the hands for concentration. So for the men, right hand on top of the left, for the ladies, left hand on top of the right, with your thumbs touching. Close your eyes. Start your breath work. No longer allowing the breath to be on autopilot. Let the control of the breath help to bring you back into your body in case you were lost in your thoughts. Notice how the breath even slows those thought patterns down. And that tends to be what happens with type A personalities. The cart goes before the horse, right? But remember, the horse leads the cart, and the driver is control over the horse. So if the mind is compared to like the racing horse, the breath is like the reins to slow it down. Now crack your eyelids open, bring your hands to namaste at the heart, this gesture of grace and gratitude. Inhale, lace your fingers together, and exhale, extend your wrist in front of you. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, lean to one side. Doesn't matter which. Inhale to the top. Exhale, lean to the other. Inhale, back up. Exhale, fan your arms nice and wide, and you're gonna fold over your lap. Let your hands flip upside down, and let your head bow towards your knees. This is the chair form of child's pose. Keep your thighs parallel, your belly resting on top. On your next inhale, sweep the arms to your sides and up. Exhale, bring hands to prayer. Inhale, lace your hands. Exhale, extend your arms. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, curve to one side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, over to the other. Inhale, up to the top. And then exhale, your hands are going to circle behind your back, but we're not folding this time. We're going to take the arms to crisscross behind the back. The heart's going to lift. Notice how you've crossed the arms. Inhale, take them back up. Exhale, bring them back behind your back and lace them the other way. Shoulders drop down, head floats up. And then exhale, bring hands back to prayer position at the heart. All right, we're gonna lower the left hand down, and we're gonna take the right arm behind the back. So I'm probably, I don't know if I'm mirroring you or not actually, but I'm actually dropping my left arm, and my right arm is crossed behind me. And then you're going to lower your left ear towards your left shoulder. Turn your chin down and look beyond the shoulder. Turn your chin and face back towards the camera or the computer or whatever device you're using. And then turn your chin and gaze upward. Be cautious with that turn. And then bring the head back up and spill the chin down. Inhale, head returns. And now exhale, lower the right arm. Exhale, thread the left arm behind the back. Inhale, give a little pick me up to your chest. And then exhale, lower the right ear towards the right shoulder. Now, if you're in a folded chair, you might be able to actually cup your hand underneath the seat. This one's so wide that it's just kind of resting. And then angle the chin downward, look beyond the shoulder. Turn the chin upward and gaze up. Bring the head to center. Exhale, bow your head. Inhale, relift the head, and exhale, release the back arm. Now hook your right arm below the left for Gairadasana arms. But we're going to cross the left leg over the right. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Exhale, hinge forward. Elbows cross past the knees. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, release your arms and legs. All right, Gairadasana, left arm hooks under the right. This is our eagle pose. And cross your right leg over your left. Squeeze those inner thighs, squeeze the forearms. Then exhale, hinge forward. Elbows can tap to the knees or move beyond. Belly can stack or hover over your lap. Inhale back up, affirming at the center of life's storms, I choose to remain serene. Exhale, unwrap the arms, unwrap the legs, step your feet nice and wide. All right, from here, you're going to bring your right elbow down to the right leg, carry the left arm up, and sweep it across the ear. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, prop your left elbow down. Inhale, flare your right arm overhead. And exhale, curve it over to the side of the face. Inhale, bring yourself back up. And bend and flex your arms from the elbows. Glue your fingers together for the moonbeam hand. Keep rolling your thighs away from each other. You're doing the Kali goddess pose from a seat. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring your fingertips down and you're going to lift your heels up. One of the forms of spider pose. Now drop your heels back to the floor. Bury your palms down to the floor and fold. Let your head go. Now turn your heels back behind your toes. Pick up your seat from the chair and try to straighten out through your legs. More of a standing forward fold. The wide leg tends to be easier than the legs being more knit together. It's okay if your hands don't touch the floor once you straighten your legs, so don't worry about that. A version of Prajurita Padottanasana. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, turn your feet toward or your heels towards each other. Bend the knees, sit back on the chair, coming into the squat. And now straighten out your arms and lift your heels again, forming this variation of spider pose. Sink your heels to the mat. Bring your torso back up, returning to Kali Goddess. Moonbeam hands. And then let's lower the hands to the ground. And let's bring the legs in front, straightening the left leg, and your right knee stays bent. All right, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, start to hinge over. Now, at first, keep your toes kind of grounded and feel that stretch in the front part of your shin and the top of that foot. And then turn your toes up, kick your heel out, and fold. And now feel the work moving into the back of the leg, your calves, your hamstrings. Inhale, draw up. Exhale, step the foot back. Inhale, straighten out your right leg, but turn the toes down. Fold over. Again, feeling that work, top of the shin, top of the ankle, top of the foot. And then we'll flex the ankle, lift the toes, press out through the heel, and now feel the work in the back of the leg. Firming as you hold left and right and all around, life's harmonies are mine. So if we adopt that idea that Earth is school and everything's trying to teach us something, then that application of the affirmation is important, right? Left and right and all around, life's harmonies are mine. Everything is meant to teach us something. All right, inhale, come back up. And then rebend the knee and flatten the foot. All right, we're gonna lift up and we're gonna turn around. Sorry, you're gonna see my seat. But we're gonna place our hands onto the chair. We're gonna step back with the feet. And we're gonna do what we would in downward facing dog. Pressing away from the wrist. Straightening out through the spine. Dipping the head between the arms. Opening the pits of the arms. And then we're gonna come down to our knees. I'm gonna do this from a side position so that you have a different viewpoint. Maybe that will be helpful. So think about when we're on our hands and knees. You want the chair to be away from you, about the distance of your upper body, right? So knees below hips. And then we walk sorry, Paris, I'm talking into you. You're gonna set your elbows on the chair, bring the palms together, and then bow your head and let it rest right at the rim. Belly suctions in. Ribs tuck in. Stretching the out seam of the shoulders into that trapezius area, into the side traps. Inhale, lift the head up. All right, now we're going to come on down to the sticky mat. Just crawl on over. Hands and knees. Gonna do a little cat cow. So inhale, bow the back. Once you have that saddle effect, exhale, drop the tailbone down, scoop into the belly, push the ground away from you with your hands, hide the heart away, drop the chin of the chest. And then flow at your own pace from here. Inhale, moving from your low to your mid to your upper back and neck. Exhale, round it out. Continue. Relax your back. We're going to crawl on over so that we can lower to our spines. Lift the legs to prop. And instant Maui. Rest your hands on your belly. Feel free to use an eye pillow over your brow. Dialing it down, slowing down. Firming energetic movement or unmoving peace. The choice is mine alone. Energetic movement or unmoving peace. The choice is mine alone. Slide your left foot towards you. Stop at any point along the way, or just let it prop at the rim of the seats. right. Inhale. You're going to extend your left leg skyward. You're going to point the foot on the inhale and you're going to flex the heel on the exhale. Pointing on the in breath, flexing on the out breath. So similar to what we did when we were stretching the leg, when we were sitting upright. But now we're going to add in some ankle rotation, circling 5 to 7 times one way, 5 to 7 times the other way. Now bend that knee, grab a hold of the outside of your foot, pull it down like half happy baby. Hold and breathe. So you may have thought I was going to be going through the magic 4. It started that way, but we're changing it up. Half happy baby, concentrating on the left side first. Couple more breaths. Now, allow the left ankle to cross over the right knee. Right? Now, if you need to stay here, that's fine. But I was going to see if you could take your right hand and perhaps slide the foot down your thigh, closer to the hip crease. If that's too much for your knee, don't do it, because that is more flexion. It's almost like we're trying to go towards half lotus, but you don't have to go that deep. We're going to stabilize here. Find our patience here, so that we are improving our flexibility in mind and body. Lift the left knee and cross the leg over the right leg, like we did kind of in the eagle pose. But now you're going to slide your right foot a fraction of the way towards you. Sometimes we'll use our arms to hug in, but we're not using the arms today. We're just sliding the right foot closer, and that will naturally bring the knees to inch in towards the chest. But feel what's occurring in the outseam of that left leg, in the outside of your left hip, and even moving back into that side of your buttocks. Slide your right leg forward, unhook the left leg, you return to instant Maui. Notice how much more grounded and sedated that left side feels. If you're unsure, notice your sacrum. All right, now let's go to the right. So the first maneuver is sliding the right foot towards us, But remember, you can actually hook the arch of the foot to the edge of the chair. Inhale, let's fly the foot up. Pointing on the in breath, flexing on the out breath. And then rolling the ankle around in circles. 5 to 7 times one way. 5 to 7 times the other way. Right, and this is where we're going to bend the knee and catch the outer frame of that foot, bringing it down, half happy baby. Couple more breaths here. And then bring that foot on over to cross to the knee. And of course, you can stay here to keep it the most gentle. But if you want to challenge yourself a little bit and bring a little bit more flexion to the knee, then slide the foot down like you're going toward half lotus, but you're not going so deep. Let's hook that right leg over, just like you were sitting cross-legged in a chair or like eagle pose. And then glide your left foot towards you, just a fraction of the way, or enough to feel a little bit of that pull in the IT band, outer hip, moving back into the right side of the buttocks. Let's unwind the legs. Now, I want you to consider reset in your instant Maui and rethink about what we did at the start when we were sitting in the chair and we separated the feet kind of in that squat that eventually led us into the Kaligatas. This is somewhat similar. So the heels will slide to the edge of the chair, right in the front, but the thighs will widen apart. Sometimes we do this at the wall, and I call it tree frog pose. Now, your heels could actually be resting on the seat if this is too much for the hips, being in the front. Something we're going to add in, you're going to release your hands from the belly and extend your arms forward so that the ears are farther away from the shoulders. And then you're just going to turn your head to the left shoulder. Inhale, roll the head back to center, and then roll it to the right. Pausing to the right. And then you're going to do this again. Inhale, roll to the middle. Turn the head to the left. Pausing when you arrive. Rolling the head to center. And over to the right. Back to the middle. One more to the left. Back to the middle. And last one to the right. Now, this will be your choice whether to reset for instant Maui, or if you want to come away and practice a corpse pose, or what I'm about to show you with blocks. Block on its low height for the head, block on the middle height for the mid back. Now, sometimes we do tallest block in middle. This time I'm changing it, but if you prefer the other one, you can go there instead. This one allows for the head to drop back for fish pose. And you know what? That's a little too low. I'm gonna bring both of them to the middle. Ah, that's better for my neck. Check with yours. You may prefer the tall, you may prefer the lowest. Let your hands flip open. Really opening up the cavity of the chest here. Open up your breath for a few rounds. Then after 5 to 10 controlled breaths, you're going to let it go. And breathe normally. Affirming, my soul floats on waves of cosmic light. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. deepen the flow of our breath again. You can lift your head and sit straight up, or you can roll over to one side. Come to, actually, instead of a seated position where we're cross-legged, see if you can sit on your heels or on a block. And if that's too much, sit cross-legged or hop back up onto some furniture. We're just going to close out our practice by bringing our hands together to prayer. Join me in this chant if you'd like. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shanti is said 3 times. It means may we all walk away having peace with anything that's out of our control, peace with anything imposed upon us, peace to any internal concerns or stressors of our own. Om peace, peace, peace. Namaste.